Now we'll start with the project, and we go back to that drawing. And we're going to try to simulate this calculation from there. But first, let's go across, and we will see, if we click on it, we have one button here that says Add Walls, Add Panels. We have one that says Add 2 Terrace Panels. We could triple terrace panels. And then the final one is Add Stairs, Pillars, or Double-Sided Walls. Now, the double-sided walls are not going to be applicable in this project because it's Frogstone and they don't provide a double-sided. The only product that does do that, and I'll show you later on, is Stone Ledge. Does have a double-sided privacy wall that we can add. We go down to the other, we can add multi-walls or panels. We can duplicate or copy a panel. And we can insert a panel inside the wall area. And then obviously we can delete a panel if we highlight it. And then these two buttons are for editing the panels. One is to edit the panel information, and the other one is to edit the geogrids within that panel. And on the side here, in the next panel, you will see each panel. We have only one sort of demo panel that started off, and that will show up here, and you will have multiple number of panels, and these will be listed all the way down. And we can reorganize them by clicking on them, and we can move them up and down and around as we go through that process. On the further right-hand side, it just gives you a bit of a quick instruction on how the program works and how you go through the process of developing and calculating panels and creating these kind of details. Now we go into this. In the screen down below is the middle screen, is where you're going to see your front view of any project that you're creating. And down below, you will have your total required for the wall. And you can see that we have one wall panel here that's very simple. It's only 2 units high, and it's 20 feet long. And that indicates that we have a wall area of 20 square feet, 30 units that are required for this because of Frogstone, a number of caps, an approximate weight for that product of the whole project or for this particular wall. And then we also have the amount of base material, drainage material, geogrids required, and on the final area, it's the backfill zone, and in the stabilized fabric is for the base, and also for the top of the area is the fabric, and also adhesive required for that particular adhering the caps to that wall. Now, each one of these areas, and I'll go back a little bit on the wall areas and the caps, it's based on the lineal feet of the areas, and the weight is approximate. But here we get into the gravels. Cubic yards of gravel that's required in this area is based on approximately 3 feet wide and approximately 6 inches deep. But we also have a fluff factor that we've built in, and a fluff factor is a percentage of the volume that comes to the site, and when it gets compacted, it gets tighter. So we have approximately 25% added to the final volume calculated, and so that we would have a more accurate amount of material that's required to be ordered. And the same thing holds true for the drainage gravel. There's a 25% fluff factor built into it, so that we have a bit more accurate estimate of what really needs to be ordered. The backfill volume is based on the material that is in the reinforced zone. When we get some geogrids involved in the project, you will see that there is going to be a reinforced backfill zone, and that's the volume that we're talking about. And this is the area that we have a 30% fluff factor built into that detail. And the final two items here are the base stabilization fabric. We often use base stabilization or simple woven fabrics in between the sub-base and the base materials so that we have minimized the settlement. It's something that contractors can choose to use or not. It's an optional thing, but we've just made it available as an optional calculation. The top separation fabric is usually put on to separate the drainage material and the back of the wall from any topsoil that's being added to the top. So if any planting materials, so we don't have fines migrating down into the chimney, and this is a fabric that will separate those soils, and also from going towards the face of the wall and staining that wall. So that's what we're do as far as the top separation fabric. And these fabrics are measured here as being 6 feet wide. So that's how it's based. In the print center, you will also see how these calculations have been used, and there will be full calculation written out so that you understand how the calculations have been done. So now we can go back up and we will start our first panel or project. And if you go into your drawing, you will see the first part of it is 12-foot long panel that we're going to create, and there's a top of wall detail of 990. There's a bottom wall detail, a BW, indicating a 988.5. This is what you will typically see on a plan that has been developed by an architect or an engineer. Now, often these are not going to be done. These are going to be done by the contractor, and he will not have these kind of drawings. He'll probably just have simple heights of wall in these areas. So, in other words, that the translation between 990 and 988.5 is 1.5 feet. He would just, instead of having those top of wall details, he would just have 1.5 feet, and then he would indicate where the elevation is dropping on the bottom of the wall or top of wall. Those are important things. As you can see from the drawing that we did, you'll see the bottom of the wall is dropping, and there are certain points at the top of the wall elevation is changing, and each panel has to have that indication because that's important to the overall calculation, and we'll go through that.